Welcome back, everyone. All right, Mr. Hernandez.
Good morning, afternoon, Judge, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. There may be an issue with your client. It appears that he may not want to be joining us for today, so we're going to see what that is about.
I spoke with him earlier today, Judge, and he was fine.
Okay, well, they're saying that maybe he does not wish to grace us with his presence this afternoon. So we're going to see what is going on and see if we can have him here.
Okay, Judge, and if I could just announce, based on what's going on. So, Judge, between the last sitting and today, I had planned to meet with him and review all the discovery with him in person. I got sick around the 30th of December with COVID, and I'm just getting back to the office yesterday.
Okay.
So I would ask the court to reset this a couple of weeks so I can actually get to review the discovery with him in person as I had originally planned to do.
All right.
And I discussed that with him also, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. Ferguson?
And just so the court's aware, I retested today, Judge, and I'm still positive.
Oh, no problem. Is this your client here? Turn to the side, Mr. Williams, 17F.
Oh, yes, Judge. He doesn't have a keyboard in front of him. He's got, I think, the TV or something.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you see at the jail if we can have Mr. Williams
Yes, ma'am.
communicate with us, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we had to restrain him. He doesn't want to be seen. And we had to remove the headphone and mic. He doesn't want to place. So we just brought him here. He's restrained and he's turned away from the screen, just to let you know.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Deputy. I appreciate that. Mr. Williams, here's the thing. At some point, you're going to appear in court and your face is going to be seen, and it can be seen by you having it seen, or it can be forced to be seen.
And you can't force me to be here, man. If I don't want to be here, you can't force.
All right, so your client obviously has some issues, Mr. Hernandez. Does he have any mental health issues, Mr. Hernandez?
I think he may have a history, Judge. I don't think he's ever been put in a facility, though.
All right, so
That
is
might
he
be
going to
something
need an evaluation, or is he just contrary?
Judge, I don't find him contrary. I find him inquisitive. So maybe we should have.
But is he inquisitive in a contrary type of way?
No.
Okay.
No, I think we have a pretty decent rapport, Judge. I mean, in fairness, yes, he asks some questions and he doesn't necessarily agree with everything, but he hasn't been abusive or anything in any way.
Hey, I told you that in the break room. I didn't want to be here. Dog.
So,
They not talking about
so yes, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. And so, Mr. Williams, number one, there's not to be any outbursts in the courtroom. That means that you're not behaving
I
professionally.
don't care
in
what
the
you talking
courtroom.
about. I already told
So, Ms. Ferguson,
you.
what we're going to do for Mr. Williams is
I
we're
don't
going to
care.
have him, we're going to have Mr. Williams come back in 60 to 90 days, and hopefully he will have changed by then.
Okay.
So we will bring him back in 60 days, Mr. Hernandez. And if you want him brought back sooner after you've spoken with him, let us know, but I can't have people behaving inappropriately in the courtroom.
I understand, just thank you.
All right, Norma, what's a 60-day reset, please?
Give me 1 second, Judge. Let me look that up.
All right, and if you'll place that in the chat box, please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then Mr. Guerra, your client showed up. Is there a reason, Mr. Arias, for your being late?
My phone was off, Your Honor, this morning, and I was on the phone with them. I had to walk down to the McDonald's a couple of miles to use the Wi-Fi to get on the first time, and then I had to walk to the Cricket store to pay it in person because they messed it up online. Even though they took my money, they didn't turn it on.
And people have said they've had problems with cricket phones.
Yeah. And then my ride left this morning and let me sleep in, I guess. And
Well, now that you can't blame that on your ride. You're responsible for waking up on your own.
no, ma'am, I'm not blaming anybody or anything. I'm just saying, that my ride left. That's why I ended up walking and it took me that much longer.
All right, how old are you?
45, ma'am.
All right, you're responsible for your own transportation and responsible for waking yourself up. Do you understand?
Absolutely, ma'am. But my car was hit 6 weeks ago by a hit and run driver and it was totaled. And when I got another one and they tried to rip me off $5,000 and I had to take it back. And I've just had to.
Mr. Arias, you're saying a lot of things, but what you're here for is you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
it doesn't matter if the hit and run happened a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Your
Well, I'm
case was set for today at 9 a.m. and you were late.
Yes, ma'am.
If you are late again, what could happen is a warrant could be issued for your arrest. This
Yes,
was
ma'am.
scheduled at 9 a.m. I gave your attorney until 2 p.m. to contact you. That can't happen again. Do you understand?
Absolutely, ma'am. Of course.
Mr. Hernandez, we're going to come back on your case on March 16th. And Norma, can you let the deputies at the jail know that Mr. Benjamin Williams will be back on March 16th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what is happening with Mr. Arias, Mr. Guerra?
Your Honor, I conferred with the ADA Marcus Sanders early this morning, so I'd like to talk to my client regarding the offer.
All right, Mr. Arias, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2 with your attorney. And Martin, I'm sorry, I'm trying to, yes, you're number 2, and Mr. Arias, let me find you. You're in number 2. Okay. And then, all right, who is the attorney for Summer who's in the courtroom? Are they back yet?
Yes, sir. Where the others are at?
All right, if you all can come forward.
Four.
Oh, I'm looking this, Judge, this is Roger Pettis on behalf of Summer Johnson,
Okay,
and Summer's here in the courtroom also.
right, and let me see if we have the prosecutor. Yes, we do. All right, if Ms. Johnson can come forward, please. All right, so we're back on the record in 2017 CR 10483. The defendant, Ms. Johnson, played true to violations of conditions 1 and 7. And the court found 1 and 7 true. And we were in argument, and I believe where we left off, Mr. Pettis, you were making your argument.
May it please the court, Your Honor? Ms.
Yes.
Johnson was placed on a 3-year probation and it was extended 2 years. This is her 3rd MTR. She understands she's made some errors. As we had been before the court and I had the honor and good fortune to represent her before, she was going through some challenges at that point, went through kind of a depression episode. You were nice enough to visit with her, and actually she's been on the right track. This particular event took place in one weekend in September where she went with the fiance of her life, Sarah, who's been involved in helping her get on the right track. Unfortunately, there was a verbal altercation that occurred. Police were called because the neighbors called. And so as a result, they dropped the assault bodily injury because there wasn't any, and there was an assertion, even in the police report, I think Mr. Garcia will confirm that there was no physical violence, but she was very nervous and she did not provide her ID immediately. She took her a few minutes, she gave it. But the bottom line, and so that's what's pending in Tarrant County, and that's primarily and substantially the reason we're before this court. But I'd like the court to recognize that she went up to Fort Worth to get money from her fiance, who has been committed to helping her, and she paid $3,500 the following week. So in September, the week after this arrest, she paid $35.95. To date, she's all paid up. She's completed the BIP program. There had been no positive drug test. It's referenced on the MTR about dilution, but none where it says positive. Right now, as she stands before you, Judge, she understands the severity of this particular offense and what you could do. She's on the right track. She's had a GPS on for some time, and she's been struggling through that in terms of identifying substantial and continuous and permanent labor, but she's been working day labor, shifts, things like that to really get on the right track. She's crossed the major hurdle in her emotional life or her mental well-being, and she's now on the right track. It was an unfortunate incident in September, but she's been on the right track ever since. And we're hopeful if you wanted to keep her on some GPS for an extended period of time, we just think she's on the right track. She hadn't made any mistakes, no drug issues, no other arrests, nothing like that since September. So we
Right, and September, that's September 2021. That hasn't been so far away. I know that things appear to be far away because now we're saying 2022, but this is the court's question. My understanding is that she was allowed to be in Tarrant County for legal purposes only.
She wasn't allowed. She just went for the weekend without getting the proper permission. She's at fault for that and admitted that to you, and then came back with the money which she paid the following week of over almost $3,600. And so she's all paid off.
So why is she violating the terms of her probation if she's not allowed to be in Tarrant County at all? Why is she there, period? Why couldn't her fiance come to Bexar County? Or why couldn't her fiance send money by Western Union or Zelle it or what's Cash App or whatever young people are using? Why would she risk potentially going to prison by violating this probation? And as the state mentioned, and as you mentioned, this is her third time. And it's not as though she's an 18-year-old or 17-year-old.
We don't frankly have a good response to that, except the goal was just to go get the money, bring it back and pay it. She did the latter of the two, but she shouldn't have gotten, you're correct. She shouldn't have gone up to Fort Worth, or she should have gotten permission, but she just thought it was just going to be a quick trip, spend the night, get the money and get on back. And she,
well, I mean, a quick trip and not violating rules. So basically she thought she wasn't going to get caught.
We fully understand that, Judge, and we recognize that, and we would ask that maybe you can consider some additional GPS as a punishment in this.
Well, here's the thing. She's already been punished previously, and this wasn't done by me. This was another judge, because this case has been going on since 2018. So she played before another judge, and that judge gave her 6 days in the Bexar County Jail and noted that it was satisfied. And then under my jurisdiction, she picked up new cases, which was a violation. I'm sorry, not new cases, but violations of 15 and 16. And from that, she was extended and she was told to enroll in BIP by, a certain time. And I'm assuming she did. And then we came back on October 20th, and she has these new cases, the assault case, which you said was dismissed out of Tarrant County, and the failure to ID and not submitting. So, Ms. Johnson, when you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be? And let me swear you in. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Summer Johnson.
Yes, when you're drug tested today and know that you are going to be drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
They'll be good, man. Positive, I believe. Is that the?
No.
With drugs or without drugs?
Oh, without alcohol or drugs. I don't do that, man.
No, when's the last time you used drugs?
Drugs, I've never been a drug addict. Alcohol, probably before I turned myself in, which was last year. I'm not an alcoholic either, man.
Well, some people say they're not alcoholics, but the thing is, while you're on probation, you're not supposed to drink alcohol, period. You're not supposed to smoke marijuana, period. So you're telling me that you're not going to come up positive or dirty for anything today?
No, ma'am.
Probation. Is there anything else? I'm sorry. Any other questions that you would have of your client, Mr. Perez?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
State any questions?
No, Judge.
All right. And is the probation officer here or not here?
She is here.
I'm here, Judge.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for her probation officer?
Just one, if you, or a couple, just to confirm that she's fully paid off.
Sure. Just 1 second. Ms. Guerra, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. If you could lower your hand and state your name and spell it for the record, please.
My name is Noelia Guerra. It's Noelia. Last name Guerra.
All right. Defense.
Ms. Guerra, could you just confirm that Ms. Johnson is all paid up?
If you give me a second, I have the case open here so I can check all this for you. Yes, I do show that she's paid in full $4,379.
And was a big chunk of the money paid in September of 2021?
Yes, in September, she paid $3,595.
Okay. And then her BIP class is complete?
And I'm sorry, because I have to switch screens and look at these areas. Yes, she completed that on July 20th, 21.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
State any questions?
Yes, Judge, just a few. Ms. Guerra, did you write a court summary in this case before the motion to revoke was heard by the court?
Yes, I did.
What is your recommendation as her probation officer?
We have to do it as the department, and because of her new #1 allegations, the recommendation was revocation.
No further questions, Judge.
All right. Any follow-up, defense?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Probation, is there anything remaining on her conditions that she has not completed?
I do have the community service hours that she was assigned to, but I didn't have her before the MTR, so I'm not sure if she was referred to those at that time. I know that while I've been working with her and due to COVID and the situation in the other county, I haven't sent her to do the community service hours, but those are pending.
Okay. And are you aware of whether or not the allegation of assault, if that has been dismissed?
I know that I had called. Give me a second. I'll pull up the part of the court summary of what I have on that part. I have those as still pending and them being in Tarrant County.
All right. Mr. Perez, do you have any follow-up questions?
Have you learned that there were 2 charges, one for failure to ID and the other one for assault bodily injury? Have you gotten any updated information on the ABI matter?
No, we don't receive those because she's not on probation here with us. I know that while I was supervising her, she did just recently say that she had gone to court. And for those, just to clarify, because I know that the judge was saying when she was leaving for court over there, I did say, yes, you can go to court, whenever she had court hearings. And I know that she was on the GPS monitor, but I haven't received any paperwork of the outcome of those cases.
So just to represent to the court, her attorney in Tarrant County has represented to her that one of the 2 charges, the ABI, has been dropped, but the failure to ID is still pending. And in fact, she has court tomorrow on the Tarrant County matter, Your Honor.
All right. So here's where the court is. Ms. Guerra, I'm assuming that you personally have not been given any information as to whether or not the assault case has been dismissed. Is that correct?
That's correct. I don't have any information of those cases.
All right. And Mr. Garcia, do you know if that assault case has been dismissed?
Judge, I don't. The last time I checked, it was still pending, but today I was told by defense that that's been dropped. But when it is, I thought they were still pending.
All right. So Mr. Perez, this is what we'll do. In regards to this case, I want to know whether or not the assault case has been dismissed or not. And Mr. Perez, I understand as a former defense attorney that sometimes clients tell their attorneys certain things. So I want to know that you personally know. So what we're going to do is we are going to recall this case. And how long will it take for you to provide that information to probation in the state, Mr. Perez?
Are you talking about minutes or days?
No, I mean, we can recall it for later in this week.
Yeah, if it could be called for Monday or Tuesday of next week or something, or I'm certain I'm going to try to get it very soon. Well, she's going tomorrow with your permission, Judge, so maybe bumping this to Tuesday or Wednesday of next week would work. And I could get to Miss Noelia Guerra and Joe Ray a copy of the dismissal.
Well, if she's going to Tarrant County tomorrow for those, then she should have those by tomorrow and we can recall this for later in the week.
Okay. Friday?
Ms. Ferguson, are we able to continue this case Friday?
This coming Friday, Judge?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we're going to come back on Friday, the 14th. And Ms. Johnson, you're still under oath. You're saying that that assault case is dismissed. Is that what you're telling the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we're going to come back on Friday, the 14th.
Great.
And your client will need to appear in person in court.
Great. Will I have permission to be on Zoom, Your Honor? I may have another matter to.
Yes, you can be on Zoom, but she'll need to be here at 9 a.m. in court.
And then how about a drug test today to confirm your concern?
Yes.
And then can she have permission to go to Tarrant County also?
She has permission to go to Tarrant County probation for legal matters only. So that means when you get to Tarrant County, there is not to be any sidetrack or different route where you can meet up with your fiance. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good news is fiance has now moved to San Antonio, right?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to send you all to breakout room number 1. If you go to breakout room number 1, probation will meet you there and let you know where you need to do your UA.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And to the courtroom, if you could go to number 1, and Miss Guerra, I'll send you to breakout room number 1. And who are the parties on Alfonso Cabanas' case?
I'm present, Judge. The client's name is Victor Enriquez. He's in custody.
All right, and who was the prosecutor?
Michelle Hayden, I'm here.
All right, Ms. Hayden, can I see you and defense in breakout room number 3, please? And let me
Judge,
make
I'm
you
not a
co-host.
co-host right now.
Yeah. All right, everyone, just give me a moment and I'll be right back. And Mr. Langlois, I'll be right back.
I'll be back in about 3 hours, Judge.
Do not do that to me.
Why, you're tying up my time.
Hey, if you were here at 9 a.m., you would be done. Just give me a moment. Patience in your pocket.
I guess you never appeared before Judge Barlow. Hello? Can you hear me? You're real low. Pardon me?
All right, where is Mr. Enriquez? Enriquez? I don't see him on the Zoom screen. All right, Richard Langlois and then Martin Guerra. Richard Langlois and your client.
My client is Mr. Barrientis.
And where is Mr. Barrientis?
He was on Zoom this morning. His sister came in and talked to me. The phone broke. He has a tumor in his stomach that's causing infections. And he has a hard time eating. That's all I can tell you.
All right.
I'm the lawyer, not the doctor.
So who is this on iPhone? Is this your client here?
Okay. Is he there? Let me see. Hopefully he is, but
The person who's on the screen with the ceiling fan, is that your client?
I don't see him, Judge.
The person who's on the screen right now, on the Zoom screen. This person here. Sir, what is your name?
Jimmy Barrientis.
All right, so
Okay.
here's your client.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Please.
There he is, right above you. Okay.
Yeah, so he's doing fine. So have you conferred with the state on this case? Mr. Langlois,
Yes.
have you conferred with the state on this case?
As soon as you get me into a breakout room, I will.
All right, thank you. Is there a criminal trial division prosecutor available to confer with Mr. Langlois on Mr. Barrientis?
Yes, Judge.
All right, I'm going to send him to breakout room number 2. All right, so Mr. Langlois, if you'll go to breakout room number 2. All right, Martin Guerra.
Your Honor, I have finished conferring with the state and my client. We don't have an agreement at this point.
All right, so you'll need a jury trial date. So Mr. Arias,
Yes, ma'am.
your plea deadline date has expired and you were actually set for a jury trial in October, but then of course we had the pandemic and then juries were suspended and they're currently suspended. So I'm going to send Mr. Guerra, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1 to confer on a jury trial date.
Okay.
All right, let me find you on this screen. Send you to number 1.
Thank you.
All right, and Ms. Ferguson, do you know where Mr. Enriquez is? That is Alfonso Cabanas' attorney.
Give me 1 second, Judge.
All right, Mr. Cabanas.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Enriquez. All right, Mr. Enriquez, we are going to, with Mr. Enriquez, they are bringing him over, so you'll have a chance to talk with him.
Okay.
All right, Jesse Esparza, you're going to be recalled back for January 19th. Your attorney is going to be George Schaefer, and he'll be getting in contact with you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Brennan, do you see what page Mr. Esparza is on?
Page 18.
All right, thank you. All right, Mrs. Esparza, you are excused, and it will be by Zoom. And Mr. Esparza, if you decide to hire an attorney, you need to work on having an attorney by that date, okay? Otherwise, you'll have the court-appointed attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. You're excused.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Brenda, how long have I been waiting to get a printer that actually works? Has it been a year now?
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too much out of life to have a printer that works. All right, your client is here, Alfonso Cabanas. We just have to have them start his video. And I'll
Okay.
send him to breakout room number 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. My printer is not working. No. And I'm not even going to call anyone to try to, fix it. That's been going on for a year. All right, Mr. Guerra, you're back.
Yes, Your Honor. We have a trial date of March the 8th.
March 8th. Okay. All right, we're going to go on the record briefly. Court is going to call 2020 CR 12347, State of Texas versus Adrian Arias for the defense.
Martin Guerra.
Right, and are you Mr. Adrian Arias?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is scheduled for jury trial. However, because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Mr. Guerra, did you have a chance to confer on a new jury trial date?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what date will that be?
March the 8th.
All right, Mr. Arias, your new jury trial date is March 8th at 9 a.m. You'll need to appear on time to the 187 District Court. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa, and it is on the 4th floor, and you'll need to be dressed for trial. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, when is your court date?
March 8th,
What
9 a.m.
time?
187th Court at 9 a.m.
All right, thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right, with
ma'am.
that, we'll close the record. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
You too.
Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Avery, we're just waiting for your attorney. Mr. Hernandez, we're waiting for your attorney as well. Mr. Langlois,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you need to speak with your client?
We have an agreement.
All right, thank you. Well, as soon as you all get the paperwork together, I will we'll go forward.
You gonna do it today?
Yes, we're gonna do it today. If you can give your client's email to Ms. Ferguson.
If he has an email, let me find out if he has one, okay?
All right, thank you.
He does have medical conditions, Judge. He has sores in his intestine.
Okay.
So he's on medication, probably on antibiotics. He's 64 years old. I'd say it, he's 14 years younger than I am.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, can you please go to breakout room number 2 and get Mr. Langlois' client's email address, please?
Yes, ma'am. Can I see you in the breakout room, Judge, real quick?
Yes, I'll see you in breakout room number 3.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. But Saturday. I'm in court.
All right, Mr. Langlois, you need to go to
Oh.
breakout room number 2.
Okay, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, please let the deputy know that you can go back. Norma, 17B can go back.
Did you put me in, Judge, or they put me in?
You're already there.
I'm there?
Yes, all you have to do is click on your breakout room. Are you on a computer?
Yeah.
All right, if you go to where it says breakout rooms, and you'll see that you can go to breakout room number 2.
Well, it ain't coming up.
Judge, and I'm sorry to interrupt, he doesn't have an email address.
I don't, the sister does.
Oh, okay.
Do you need it?
Yes, sir. If you can put it in the
Okay.
chat for me.
Let me get it for you. I'll call you back.
All right, Mr. Langlois, I moved to you to number 1.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Norma, whenever you get it, can you send it to me also? Thank you.
Thank you for the email. There you go. Just to go back to the lawyer. She does. What does that say?
Ms. Ferguson, did you get the email address from Richard Langlois' client?
Yes, ma'am. Everything's been taken care of. I think he
Right.
is kind of just accidentally logged out and needs
All
to
right.
go back.
Thank you. Mr. Avery? You're on mute.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Hi, your client is not, your attorney is not going to be back till 4.
Okay. What would you like
So,
to do?
no, you can wait on Zoom till 4 p.m. and that's what time he'll be back.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thanks
Uh-huh.
for your
Thank you.
patience.
Uh-huh. You're welcome.
This is muted. This is to mute. So if you click it with a line, it's muted. This is not muted. So I can figure out when they can talk to you.
All right, Mr. Barrientis, do you have someone helping you? You're on mute, Mr. Barrientis.
Yes.
Yes, is there someone helping you?
Yeah, my lawyer told me to hold on.
All right, so your attorney is supposed to be going over paperwork with you, Mr. Barrientis.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. I'm going to send your attorney to breakout room number 2. Please stay in that breakout room until you've completed the paperwork. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Ferguson, may I see your breakout room, please? Breakout room number 1. All right, it has been a long day, but Brenda, it's a beautiful day. It's not as cold outside. It's not hot. It's good. So Mr. Avery, could you start your video for me, please? All right. Court is going to call 2021 CR 2603, State of Texas versus Michael Avery. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Marcus Sanders.
For the defense?
Daniel Vela, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Avery?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Avery, I'm showing you what's entitled consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, Mr. Avery, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review that discovery with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Avery, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Thank you. Did you review it with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find, I'm sorry, defense, Brenda, it's been a long day. Defense, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Avery, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Avery, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
The court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. The state opposes your application for deferred adjudication. The state will take in consideration NIMAG number 607408. There's to be no contact with Saul, S-A-U-L, Tellez, T-E-L-L-E-Z. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver repeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes. Your
Counsel,
Honor.
have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense as charged in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Yes, Judge. The state offers States Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No.
Mr. Avery, I'm going to show you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. The court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. This is going to be set for sentencing. Ms. Ferguson, what day will we come back?
Give me 1 second, Judge. Let me look.
All right, we're going to come back on February 23rd, and this will be at 9 a.m. Mr. Avery, you'll need to appear in person in the courtroom at 9 a.m. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa, 187 District Court on the 4th floor.
And that was February what?
The 23rd.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Mr. Vela, does there need to be a TAP evaluation?
I didn't think it was ordered as part of the plea, Your Honor.
No, I mean, do you feel your client has a drug or alcohol problem?
Not to my knowledge.
Mr. Avery, do you need a drug or alcohol testing?
No, ma'am.
All right, when's
No,
the
ma'am.
last time you had something to drink?
I don't drink at all,
Okay,
honestly.
all right, so the conditions with you as far as what needs to be done so that I will have the report that I need. What will happen is you'll have an interview with probation. I will make a decision on your application on the 23rd of February based upon that report and any other evidence that's presented to me. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. Probation will meet you in 1 and tell you what needs to be done and what's expected, and she'll let you know when your appointments are.
Judge, can I just interject? It froze a little bit after, or at least on my end, it froze when the court inquired Mr. Avery last time he drank, and then after that it froze for a few seconds.
Oh, he said that he doesn't drink.
And that was, so there was no tap ordered, or I didn't catch that part.
No, my understanding is that you're not requesting a tap evaluation. Your client says he doesn't need a tap evaluation.
Okay.
All right. All right, if you both will go to breakout room number 1, and probation will meet you there. Norma,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to need you and Robert in the breakout room because Richard Langlois said that he has changed the email location for his client.
Yes, and I changed it, but I'll go in there with him.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
And I'll come in there to help as well. And he's in number 2.
Okay, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, as soon as they come in, Brenna, this will be our last one. All right, Mr. Langwell, we're just waiting for your client to come out of the breakout room. To help him come out of the breakout room, let me see if I can bring him back to the main session, and then we'll take this case up. All right, awesome. All right, Mr. Barrientis, can you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Court is calling 2021 CR 2983, State of Texas versus Jimmy Richard Barrientis. Can I have parties announced for the record, please, for the state,
Marcus Sanders.
for the defense?
Richard Langworth for Mr. Barrientis.
All right, and are you Mr. Barrientis?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objections from the defense?
None, Judge.
Mr. Barrientis, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the, I'm so sorry, Brenna. I got another chat in the chat box. Mr. Langlois, showing you what's entitled acknowledgement of discovery. Have you received all the discovery in this case and that you review it with your client?
I did, Judge, and I am.
All right, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Barrientis, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And
Yes,
did you, I'm sorry, did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge. Proceeding on count 4, waiving counts 1 through 3.
Any objections?
None, Judge.
Mr. Barrientis, I'm going to show you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it at all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you understand what you're charged with in count 4 is possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. That's a second degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
We've discussed them, Judge. He's communicated with me. He understands what he's doing and he's willing to proceed with the guilty plea.
Do you believe he has
Yes,
a
the answer is yes.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
That would be my opinion.
Mr. Barrientis, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, yeah.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 4 with possession of controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams. There's to be a $1,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication, and there's $114 to San Antonio Police Department for drug testing. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement, Mr. Barrientis?
Yes, ma'am.
Vince, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
None, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 80 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to count 4 in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
What?
To count 4, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea?
Yes, the state offers States Exhibit 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
None, Your Honor.
Mr. Barrientis, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Judge.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, the only thing I'm gonna say is I'd ask to find the probated or portion of it. My client is receiving medical treatment for stomach problems. He has some soreness in his intestines, so he's taking medication, stuff like that. And he's not working. I don't know how we're gonna do the CSR hours, but they can come up with some money and pay to $5 per hour or something like that.
All right, Mr. Barrientis, what is your medical condition?
I got the stomach, eight source in my intestines.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out what, if you are able to do community service hours or not. Are you currently employed?
Yeah, I've been doing some side jobs since I just started like last week, started doing them again. Cause I was in bed for the last couple months. I'm like,
How are you supporting yourself?
Well, I started doing that self-employed. I started working back with my self-employed, and that's why I've been supporting myself.
Okay, I don't understand what, I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying. How have you been supporting yourself?
The last couple of months was when my sister had to help me till I got back on my feet. I started working again.
What did you do before you became ill?
Floor tile. Did that for about like 20 some years.
All right, who is Raquel Jimenez?
That's Raquel.
I mean, does Raquel Jimenez live with you? Raquel Elisa Jimenez?
She's a friend of mine that lives down the block.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to $1,000 fine. That will be probated. Restitution of $114 to SAPD for drug testing. 80 hours of community service restitution. The court will waive the 80 hours of community service restitution if you provide proof that you've obtained the COVID vaccination. The court is not forcing anyone to get the COVID vaccination, but if you obtain it and provide your proof, and when I say proof of the COVID vaccination, that includes the booster shot, 80 hours of community service hours will be deducted. 3 years deferred adjudication, proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. There's to be no contact with Raquel Elise Jimenez. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be random field visits. 2 times per month. If you're drug tested, what are the results going to be, Mr. Barrientis?
Clean.
Okay. There's to be regular UAs or patch. Rebecca, is there anything else that he needs?
Ma'am.
Mr. Barrientis, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful in this probation?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Barrientis, I've seen some underage people running in behind you. I don't know if those are your grandchildren. I don't know if it's your niece or your nephews, but this is what I'm going to tell you. You have to do better because you're setting an example for them. Having drugs like you had from what I read in the police report is not good for children in households because number one, people who make illegal drugs, they're not bound by the FDA rules, so you don't know what they're putting in it. Number three, young children are curious about things that they see. That's how they learn. They touch everything. They put things in their mouths. I'm sure parents can tell you children are always picking up something, trying to put it in their mouth, and they're constantly trying to stop them from doing that. And when you have people who are doing what you were doing, that means that you're not paying attention to children and anything can happen. And you and I both know that young children, when they get into drugs that people have laying around, if they end up taking them, they could end up dying. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
So you need to start being an example for those young people in your household. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know people are attracted to fast money, but guess what? You have choices. Do you want fast money or do you want to potentially die immediately? To me, it's like no to fast money. I'd rather live a good life, set a good positive role model and example for the young people around me. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because things don't last. And when you die, guess what? Your things don't go with you. Go to the junkyard. It's filled with cars. Those are all things that people worked hard for and died for. And guess what? At the end of the day, it's in the junkyard and it's just junk.
Yeah.
People matter, not things. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. Probation will go over conditions with you. Okay. Mr. Langlaw, you can go to breakout room number 1 with your client, or either you can be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You and your new dog. That's so cute. All right. Who's running the household? What did you say her name was?
Farrah, like Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, Farrah Fawcett. So Farrah Fawcett is running the office. All right, we're gonna.
I want to sleep right now.
You gotta let her sleep. She's a puppy. All right, we're gonna stop live stream and see everybody tomorrow. Thursday. It's hard to believe tomorrow's Thursday at 9 a.m. Time is moving quickly.
I have to be back before you tomorrow, right?
Yes, come and bring Farrah with you.
You think we can do it within 10 hours tomorrow, or what?
No, I mean at the minimum, we should be able to do it in 12 hours. At the